Mm. I am so sorry. I didn't realize we were live, and well, I had to finish at least a sip of that. Welcome. Let me adjust myself, adjust my seat. You'll notice I'm missing the black background. We had a little bit of a snafu right before I went live. It fell to the floor. I wasn't even going to attempt to lift it back up. So what I've done instead is I've taken that black background and draped it over my treadmill, as one does, to hide the fact that you're not using the treadmill, which I'm not, as evidenced by the echo from my bulking stomach. Hi, welcome to Tuesday, July 21st. 2 more days for those of you who know what 2 days from now is. Remember, it's an important day, at least in my life. Yeah, it's my birthday. Anyway, so tonight I have almost no plan. I have almost absolutely no plan, and I'm looking forward to it, other than the fact that I did, in fact, share a charcuterie tray today. So I believe our guest, Mr. David Stringer, enjoyed that charcuterie tray and is still enjoying it. I can see he's eating the cheese right now. He is lodging it into his mouth as fast as he can so that he can come on air and be able to talk and not have that cheesy weirdness about his voice, which is often the case when you eat a lot of cheese. Anyway, let's just, you know what? Let's just welcome on. Let's see what I can do here. Get rid of that. And here he is. David, what's up? Hey, it's great. You sound
great. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
You know, after all these weeks of doing this, I figure I should be able to do my own tech here. So, hey, Chris.
Hey. Pretty good. So, go back to the story a little bit here. I started this on March 27th, and I had the ambition of doing it 5 days a week, which now looking back is a little insane, which jump ahead. I'm making an announcement right now. I'm only going to do this 2 days a week from now on. You also started something at about the same time, correct?
I did, but first I have to comment on the fact that there's nothing that cheese will do to get rid of my weird cheesy voice. There's nothing that cheese will actually do. There's nothing that crackers or the meat sampling can do to get rid of my cheesy voice. So yes, thanks for having me on the show. About the same time, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who I know through a family connection, and we were talking about dealing with the situation of COVID and the shutdown, the quarantine, and business coming to a screeching halt and what to do about that. And after about a phone call that lasted, literally it did last, we joke about it, it did last like 2.5 hours. I mean,
wow.
We suddenly just realized that we had so much in common and a lot to talk about. This is Matt Toki and I, that I said, Matt, the things that you've done in your business as a performer. So Matt's a performer in New York, 5-time Broadway star. And yeah, he's got a crazy resume. It's awesome. I said, Matt, we should do a podcast. He goes, what's a podcast? It's like, okay, well, let's start over. So it was great. So we started the Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie. And it has become a labor of love. We just wrapped season 1 with episode 13. So we had 13 episodes, 13 weeks of doing this. And our focus was, we had all kinds of goofy ways we talked about it, unorthodox wisdom from an unexpected reality. Hey, I got it right. I actually got it right. And really, it was the idea similar to what you're doing, which is bringing people together to talk about what a strange time this is, what we can do about it, right? Whether your business is completely shut down and you have to pivot, or your business is up and running and you have to make dynamic changes in your business on a daily basis. Or different industries and how it's affected. And so we've had everything from music industry folks to actors, to entrepreneurs, to small business leaders on the show through the 13 weeks, and it's been cool. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh no.
Oh, let me take a guess whose that is.
I bet that's the cat.
Uh-oh. Okay, is the cat okay?
You know what? Here, I'm gonna let you talk.
Let me tell a little story. So back in the 1980s,
I'm gonna let you talk, and I'm going to put this on speaker while you're talking, and I'm going to mute myself. So yes, tell us a little bit more about how this came about. What kind of guests? What was your top guest? Let's talk about that.
Oh wow, our top guest. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pick one because all of the shows were very different, and they all came at things from a similar perspective, from the standpoint of how do particular industries pivot and make dynamic changes in this. And I was thinking about preparing to be on your show today. I was thinking about the name Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie. And so that came out of the conversation that Matt and I had that night. And it was sort of a funny, throw it out there, sort of, the next great idea is going to be some combination of the, toilet paper and a fortune cookie, right? and Matt was like, I think that's the name of the show. I was like, fine, that's great. And really what it represents as we continue to evolve it is something functional and something that's wishful thinking, right? And if that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what is, right? So functional toilet paper, you're solving a problem, an immediate problem, whatever that problem might be. And then the fortune cookie, which is wishful thinking. I'm hoping, there's no guarantees in business or in life. And so having that fortune cookie experience is what I think a lot of entrepreneurs live in on a daily basis. So each guest we had on was coming at things from a very different perspective in a very different industry, and how are they pivoting and what are they thinking about? I will tell you some memorable things. So let's start at the very beginning. The most memorable thing early on was having Micah Davidson, who is the owner of Midwood Entertainment in Charlotte, and festivals is like his jam, literally, to pardon the pun. But festivals are the jam. Festivals are what really that his company is all about. Talent buying, supporting a festival, running a festival, and that all got just stop, right? And spring and summer are like the festival season. So we brought him on to really talk about how the whole music industry, and this was very early, how they were really pivoting. And I think everybody has been on Facebook probably more in the last 5 months than they ever were in their entire life, right? So you really saw how the music industry pivoted on Facebook to do live streams, and every week there was some new live stream, and now they've come all the way through that to where just the other day, Michelle, my wife, and I, our favorite band is Moon Taxi. And so they put out that they were going to do a live stream, cost you $15 and you can buy a poster. Boom, boom. That was easy, man. And then I got to watch Moon Taxi on my big screen TV, beautiful sound, beautiful production. And so we saw Micah and his group and another company that they work very closely with named Codex out of Hickory. They pivoted and they created the No Contact concert series about 3 weeks after we talked to him. So that was cool. So that was an early on adaptation of what was happening. And then, having somebody on like Richard Blanche, who as an entrepreneur, I was like fangirling over this guy. I mean, he's just the top 1% of 1% of entrepreneurs. The access, the things he's done. He came on to talk to us about the fact that his new company that is going gangbusters right now is exploiting NASA patents I mean, who wouldn't want to be an entrepreneur with here's a menu of patents from NASA. Could you turn these into a business? It's like, so, those were some memorable times. We just recently had on Don Johnson, who is a local business owner here in Rock Hill.
Yeah, local business owner, not Don Johnson. You get that straight.
Right. Not Don Johnson. Right. So yeah, you would understand me if I said it with a New Jersey accent. Dawn Johnson. Dawn Johnson was on the show. So no, she was awesome. Local, not only a local business person, but also a tremendous leader, and really has done some neat things in the last year or 2 years for the community and the business development side of things here in Rock Hill. So, all right, I feel like I've been talking too much.
No, that was great. That was great. I was pretending like there was a syncing issue, but there was no syncing issue at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that you're able to take a moment of time, and this is, really, when you think about it, this is just a moment in time. That's all it is. It's going to affect everyone in a different way. It's certainly affecting our lives in a specific way, because our son he just graduated high school. And my daughter is a 16-year-old. She just got her license. She can't go anywhere.
My son is 16. Can't get his license yet because the driving schools were closed. It's like,
if he lived in Georgia now, he could have gotten his provisional online.
Oh.
And so she got her provisional online, and then they allowed her to come later and take a road test. But she could still drive before that, which is crazy. But it's just,
wow.
I'll point to our Governor Kemp, who comes up with very interesting ideas, as everyone knows.
Keep people on the road.
we're rogues. But it's an interesting time, and it's great that you have taken that time and been able to. I don't want to say capitalize on the fact, because we're not really making that much money, but capitalize on the ideas that can come from that. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I've made as much as it takes to put this little name down. That's how much money
I spent money on toilet paper fortune cookie. I haven't made money on it.
Yeah,
and that was quasi the goal and not really the goal. So we did absolutely put it out on podcast platforms. We've absolutely put it out onto YouTube. Just in the outside case that it just catches, right? I mean, you just don't know. What was it that just recently caught and everybody went,
this is them again. So you go ahead and talk.
I'm going to talk. It's sort of like Tiger King, right? I mean, the cycle of Tiger King. Everybody caught onto it and it went bananas. So you never know. I mean, TPFC could have been the next Tiger King. Who knows? I mean, I could always come in here and go, that blank Chris Bass, he messed up. Well, anyway. Oh, he's talking. All right. So how are we doing out there? I can't see any comments. So if you've commented, go ahead and ask some questions if you're out there. Happy to take any questions from the group. But Chris did put into the comments our podcast. It's out on all platforms. So I'm just going to shamelessly plug it while he's taking care of his cat. And also check out Matt Stokey's new podcast, which is very much in line. I'm all by myself now. I have complete control of the show. Well, hello there. Hi, Savannah. It is David Stringer. I don't know where your host went. I'm hoping he'll be right back, or this is going to be a very long and odd show for you. So I think I could actually probably change my name here to Chris Bass, standing in for Chris Bass. So yeah, all right. What I was going to say was I'm going to just give a shameless plug for my partner on TPFC, Matt Stokey. He started a offshoot podcast called The World Still Spins. And he's got a Facebook page up, so you can find that. And that's really dialing into the Broadway network, the performance network in New York, talking about, the love of their lives, which is Broadway, and when that could possibly get back to something that we might consider to be normal in the future. So, Diane, do you have any other updates for me? Any other comments? The cat. Aha, the cat. We will get an update on the cat in just a moment. The cat seems fine. Diane, the cat seems fine. I'm hearing the cat seems fine. Chris is going to delete this show when he comes back. So,
hey,
thank God.
that was fun, wasn't it? I'm so sorry. But
I'm the one that's sorry, man. You just lost all your audience. They're like, who is this idiot? And what is he talking about?
Actually, I mean, they're all still here, which is crazy. Thank you, folks, for staying on during that. I bet most people were just they're dying to know what happened with my cat. And
give us an update.
He's fine. They think he ate something in like thread or something like that. They're gonna give him some stuff to make it pass.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you so much for filling in. So as I remember how we left it.
I've moved on since.
Where are we now?
Well, let's talk about you for a second. And I don't think in most, I don't know if your shows, if anybody that you bring on actually turns the tables on you. And what was your passion for starting this show?
So yeah, I have answered that question a couple of times, but it's interesting.
All right. What is your favorite color?
It changes every time I think about it, and the fact that everything came to a halt here, and I was planning to have this great meeting with everybody in town, and I think it was more along the lines of the fact that I was looking for some voice to listen to, and I found Seth Rudetsky online doing the same thing. And he was talking to Broadway folks about, their experience, about how they were feeling and everything like that. And it inspired me to want to do something like that, but give it the voice of our local passionate group of performers. And so that's kind of where I came from for this at the beginning. But really, the beginning was me just playing with a piece of tech. I think that's probably one of the second biggest thing. Actually, it's probably the first biggest thing in my life is just playing with tech, and then acting is very close second to that. My wife.
So you are an early adopter.
Yes, technology. Very much so. Okay. Yes.
So I am in technology as well, and I am a late adopter. I can't stand new technology. Drives me nuts. I have no desire to go and play with it and tinker with it. I just want somebody to figure it out and then go, yeah, this is the way this works. I'm like, oh, fantastic. My world has changed. I love this.
So that's me. I will go in and I'll try something new first and figure out how it works. And then I'll tell everybody else about it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you have questions about anything, let me know. There's actually a beta program for something very similar to this that a friend of mine put me up on. I've got to look him up real quick. He's been texting me today, as a matter of fact. This guy named Nate Lynch told me about, that's what it's called. Yeah, okay. It's MMA.
Does that start with an H or an M?
An M. It starts with an M. I'll put it right there in the comments. But they've developed this new StreamYard style thing, but it's more along the lines of creating like a variety show. So think OBS on steroids.
Okay. Yeah. We use that in Insignia. So Peyton Craig, a high school friend and performer. So I do have to tell you that, I've got that echo again. Is that on me or you?
I don't know. Let me.
Anyway, I do have to say that it's not too far out for me to be on this show because I do still have my Thespian Society card I got in high school. So lifelong member. And another lifer of the Thespian Society, because we got a card at the same time, is Peyton Craig, who's watching us We went to high school together in St. Pete, Florida, and we did many shows.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in Little Shop of Horrors. I was the plant.
You know what? You told me this, and I totally forgot. So I apologize for putting.
And I did community theater. I did Hamlet and community theater. I was an extra, and I was good backstage. So yeah, I mean, my mom sat me down at a very, very early age, and she said, "David, you have a voice, a face for radio." Yeah. And a voice for newspaper. So here's a notebook and a pencil. Start writing. So, no, I'm just kidding. My mom didn't say that.
Yeah, I've heard voice for radio, but I think that's a compliment. So, probably
it can be. I hate hearing my voice. That's one of the things. It's hard for me to go back and watch and do the editing and stuff because it's like, so
yeah.
But yeah, my family has been in theater, and so my mother actually was in theater most of her life. She actually went on to write some plays, and she now has a book series. So she actually did take up being an author. So she has a book series that's focused on young adult women. Starts out with a little girl who turns 12. She's going to shoot me. Turns 16 or 12. I can't remember. I think she turned 16. And it's called the Maggie series, and it's Maagy, Maggie series. And it's a great book series, and it goes all the way through her ascending to the leadership of the kingdom. I won't ruin too much of the plot, but it's under Virginia Burton Stringer. So she will be
Virginia Burton Stringer. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
it's the Maggie series.
Maggie series, yeah. I'll post. If you go to Just Maggie, JustMaagy, justmaggie.com. That's her website, and you can also look that up in Facebook as well.
Okay.
But she's got 4 books out, and her latest one. The latest one is the biggest one. Here we go. Now we're really plugging.
There you go. Here, you hold the book and I'll show the website real quick so people can
there
see.
You go. There's Mom.
Is that your mom?
Yeah, there's Mom.
Hi, Mom.
So she's been in theater all of her life. She actually wrote a really powerful, I think it was a 1-act play called "Can You Hear Them Crying," which is all about kids in concentration. It's kind of a dark subject, but kids in concentration camps. She was very, very passionate about teaching people about the concentration camps and all of that through children. Which is good and dark and terrible, but it won several awards in Florida. She taught for many years drama, and then my 2 sisters who I've had on the show, the Toilet Paper Fortune Cookie show, they both went to Shenandoah Conservatory University in Virginia, and both graduated with theater arts degrees. And so yeah, my family is, and then I have a whole other side of the family that. You start name dropping and it's like, oh boy, here you go. So,
okay.
But he is cool, and his name is Patrick Wilson. So look him up.
Yes, I know Patrick.
He's a cool dude, super nice, great individual, just a great human being.
Yes. And he's great at aquatics.
Huh?
He's great at aquatics.
Yes, right. He can breathe underwater. It's amazing. Yeah. I don't know who taught him to do that, but
I share that as well. We've talked about that.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. So I mean, I'm not like totally abstract of the performing arts, and I think that's why Matt and I really connected over the subject, because many artists and many performers are gonna have to pivot right now and find something. I mean, if you are a Broadway actor in New York right now, you are not working, right? Unless you are in some other thing, a restaurant or some other occupation. So
voiceover, they could do voiceover, I guess. They could do online stuff, but really their bread and butter, what they do and what brings them the joy that
exactly.
a profession should bring is acting on a stage.
Yeah, and we had another great guest that we had on, and I highly recommend maybe reaching out to her and having her on this show, is Valerie Lee. I wish I could. I'm an English major, and I'm so bad at pronouncing names. It's like the worst. Anyway, Matt would shoot me. Valerie, you can look her up on our show. She was episode 11. Talk about an incredible individual whose personality just comes right through. She was a stage manager, and so she was talking all about the folks behind the scenes that makes Broadway work. You can have the actors on the stage, but they got to have lights, they got to have sound, they have to have props. So all of those people right now, what are they doing? How are they adapting to this? And it's a huge ecosystem that right now has just come to a grinding halt. So what do you do? And how do you pivot in this? And what's interesting is I just got a behind the scenes of the No Contact concert series here in Hickory. And what was cool about that is the level of technical the level of technicality that they are putting into what is an online show. Mm-hmm. So if you listen to it on your iPhone, it comes through as sort of iPhone sounds. If you put your headphones in, it's like you're there. If you put it up on your big screen with your big sound system, it sounds like you're there. So they've worked out some really cool technical things to make this happen and stream this, multiple cameras. I mean, it was a very sophisticated setup that they had there. And what that tells me is that there's an opportunity to do that on a bigger scale. We have this debate between Matt and Micah and some other folks that we talked to. One of Micah's, partners in the Codex business. His name is John, and we banter back and forth about streaming and how important it is, or how it can't be a replacement for live produced. And it's not a replacement, but it's the best we can do right now.
Right.
And it could put a lot of people back to work if it was something that people really started to see, okay, there's a way to monetize this. I think that everybody's struggling right now with how do you monetize these new things, and putting them behind paywalls and creating exclusivity to that content is really something that I think I know that the live theater arts is resistant. Is that a good word?
I would say so. I definitely think that
concerned.
Yeah,
concerned about giving up what is that live, and yet right now we don't have a choice, right? So right now, would I tune in to see a local show that might be produced in a clean environment, that's lots of precautions, of course, and actors doing the right things? I think I probably would pay to see that on some sort of a platform. And no, I'm not there. And yes, it's coming through my TV, but yet the level of production that I've seen on the music side of things, listen, you can make it happen. I mean, the sound can be great. If it's singing, you can bring that through the technology we have, which is, both of us as being technology kind of geeks, the level of technology that we have right now to do the things that we're doing is it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy cool how often we're now on video chats, or video meetings.
I remember when we first started this out, it seemed like there was a lot of lag and things were slowed, but then for some reason somebody up top may have opened some pipes up or decided that they needed to restructure how content was being delivered and what reprioritized content, I guess.
Can you imagine the amount of data that is going along all of these fiber connections right now.
Yeah.
I mean, today I had, let's call it 4 or 5 different either Google Meet or Zoom calls, right? It's got to be terabytes a second. I'm just one person connecting to one other or two other 3 people. Think about all the people that are doing business right now. It is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I got to say middle out compression has really changed the game, you know?
What?
middle out compression. Come on. You got to go middle out, right?
For sure. Well, I've always been a front end kind of guy, or
oh my God.
I don't know.
You did not. I can't believe you didn't watch Silicon Valley.
Oh, I started that show, and there's some shows that just connect, and then there's just some shows that it's like, you know.
It was cringeworthy. I'll grant you that for sure.
It was good. It was good. I just didn't. My wife and I, we just didn't stick with it.
Yeah, I understand.
When it's going up against like Game of Thrones or Westworld, it's like,
Well, if you have time, go back and watch, and I think you'll laugh because you are in the space. So,
we just started. What is it? Not Space Camp. Space Force. Space Force. Steve Carell is like one of my heroes.
Yeah.
I have Michael Scott moments all the time at the
I'm sure you do.
Now they're just on video calls,
Yeah, yeah. Well, as one of your employees says, life is a performance.
Yes, 100%. Yes, Susan, glad to have you back from vacay.
Yeah, this is so sad. She was so close to me. She was about 45 minutes away, yet I didn't even see her. But that's the nature of things right now. We were like, I was in North Carolina, she was in Hilton Head, and then we just like ships that pass in the night. That's what it was. But yeah, you should definitely go back and watch that. She says, glad to be back. Good. Is the office open now, or are you guys all working from home?
So technically, the office is open. We have a few employees who do not have the home situation to be able to work from home. So we accommodate them by opening the office, which is kind of a weird thing, right? That's kind of a reverse. And so James Brooks, my business partner at Insignia, and I flip-flop during the week. So he's in the first part of the week. I'm in the end part of the week. And so all total, we have like 4 people at the office. And
okay.
It's an office where, we probably could fit 40 people in there. So it's kind of empty.
Yeah. And we have a very similar situation here. So I'm working from home, and I work from home pretty much every day, unless I have to go in and take care of something.
Yeah.
But we do have we probably have like 10 people in our office, just because that's what they prefer. And it is what it is. You have to make accommodations. I think that's the biggest lesson right now, personally, is just, and I've always known it, you don't need to judge what everybody else is doing. It's your business and your family's business. It's not anybody else's. I mean,
right. Well, I mean, you do have to make accommodations for employees, but I think when you put the I always talk about this at the company. It's a balancing act, right? And we try as owners to do the best we can to keep in balance what's good for the company and what's good for the employee. And sometimes that tips in the company's direction. And when there has to be a difficult decision like laying off somebody, I think that's the worst, right? Where the company just can't support the number of people you have. So unfortunately, that tips towards, I love this person, I enjoy them at our company, but we can't afford to have you, so that's a terrible thing. And then on the other side, we really try to balance when a person has, things going on in their life, and have that balance that they're going through something difficult at home, a sickness, a divorce, a child's issue. And so we try to, tip the balance of the scale back towards the employees so that they can be accommodated. They can, and not in a way that, you have to be very careful, obviously, because you can't do it for one person, not do it for the other. So it always has to be this. I mean, a balance is the best thing, because, you have to let everybody do that now. And so when this all happened, working from home was kind of a privilege that you worked up to in the business. For us, it was something that we had to really trust, that you're not sitting watching Netflix, you're actually getting stuff done. And this, we're a small company, so there's no room for error. There's not a whole lot of room for fat, for somebody who can just be lazy and not do what they need to do and just be sort of brought along. So, so when this all happened, I mean, it was like immediate. We just sent everybody home. And it was, okay, let's figure out equipment, because that was like a big thing. It's like, okay, who has a laptop and who doesn't? Yep. Well, I've got this monster computer that sits under my desk. Am I supposed to take that home? So we had to work out equipment stuff. And then we found that we were so pleased, and it just goes to the character of the people that we have working at the company. And we're so blessed. Productivity went up. We were getting stuff done. Meetings were happening. Content for our system was getting out at a more efficient rate, it seemed, than before. And so I think, we've just, in this whole situation, there's been some silver linings in a very difficult situation that, for our particular situation, for right now, listen, we could not be in any better place. I mean, yes, I'd love to have, 200% an increase in sales, but I'll take right now the fact that we've been able to navigate this in a way that, hasn't been punitive to employee or company. And
that's really good. Yeah. Our company, very similar situation. I think, though, we did get to the point where we did have to lay some people off this month, but only for the month. So they're all coming back in August, and we'll be able to gear up again. But yeah, everybody is working from home. And to your point, the flip side of that was, now we are all so prepared for hurricane season that I mean, we were already positioning ourselves that way. We had equipment in our offices that everybody was relying on, and we moved all that equipment to offsite to Greenville before all this started. So we were already ready for that side of it. But then now it's just, and everybody knows how to use Teams, and nobody knew how to use it before. So
right. Well, and that we switched about, I'm going to say 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, we switched to the whole Google suite, right? And it was, listen, you talk about the guy that doesn't want to adopt, and the late adopter, that pissed me off, and I dug in my heels. And when one of our business partners, who's now retired, Brian Smithson, he was our chief engineer. It was like 5 Saturdays in a row that he had to go in and rebuild the Exchange database, back up and running. He called me and said, "F you, Monday you're on Google."
Yeah.
And it was like, all right. So we converted. And so about, I'm going to say a year ago, we have managers around the country. And so, 2018, we converted to having all video meetings with managers, right? And it made a huge difference, because now it's not this sort of staticky phone call kind of thing. Yeah, Brian. Yeah. And so we were just so used to doing video calls, and we've been used to doing video calls now for like a year and a half. So when this all happened, it was like, okay, see you Monday on the video call. I mean, it wasn't, there hasn't been any adjustment, I think, for our business. I think there are some employees who have had a little bit difficult time adjusting to it. But as a company, if you just look at the balance of it, we hit it in stride. And so, again, I can't speak enough about the amazing people we have working for our little insignia company that just keeps on chugging on.
Well, I applaud your efforts. in that. That's amazing. A little bit about your company. We haven't really talked about it. So your company basically details cars. Is that kind of?
No.
Okay.
Good try.
Susan. Oh, no, I'm kidding. She's probably explained it to me 20 times, but I have such a flighty mind that I've
see, and I think this is a little brother sister, little rivalry thing. You're just like, whatever, I want to, because what she does is really cool and it's very techie. And I think you need to come to Rock Hill and see, or she needs to do a call with you and share her screen. So here's what we do. We are a software cataloging company for vehicle accessories. And then we also do consulting and so our main customer is a car dealership. So we teach car dealers how to merchandise accessories when they're selling you the car. So Chris, you're buying this beautiful F-150. I think it would look great with some chrome assist steps. And, we can swap out these 19-inch, aluminum wheels for some nice chrome 20-inch wheels. So you want to see what that looks like? And you're like, sure.
Yeah.
And so they bring up our system, and then they'll demonstrate what the car will look like. And that's what Susan does, is she works with the assets of the vehicle. So we render, and this is what the neat thing about what we do is we render these vehicle models. And I'm super excited because one of the people on Susan's team has been working for the better part of most of, I think, the last 6 or 8 months. I think she started in the fall at reprogramming is the best way to say it, how we render vehicles. So it's almost photorealistic. I mean, they put out a couple of proofs and it's like, wait, what? That's not a photo. I shared one actually on LinkedIn and under my, and I challenged people. I was like, look at this photo and tell me if it's a photo or if it's a computerized rendering. And most people like, that's a photo. There's no way. It's a photo. So we show what the car looks like, and then we show what the car would look like with the accessories on it. And we do this for Volkswagen. We do this for Jaguar Land Rover. We do this for I think we're up to like 1,300 or 1,600 dealerships across the country. So we're very tied to the automotive business. Blender. Yes. So we're very tied to the automotive industry. And so when this all hits, so first off, one of the reasons why we have been successful in navigating this time up to this point, who knows what rock we might hit tomorrow, but let's just say up to this point, we've been successful at navigating it, has been a lot to do with how the lessons we learned in 2008 and 2009. So we lived through that. So our company was in this business 2001. So in 2008, in the summer of 2008, we were on track to have our absolute best year, most number of dealerships signed up, most revenue, most profit. It was just like, yeah, baby, we're taking off. And then it's like we were in mid jump and someone grabbed our ankles and went bam, because we went from signing up 40 to 50 new customers a month to losing 100 customers in December of 2008, like that. So that was terrifying. And so we learned a lot of lessons in navigating that, which as soon as we saw this happening, we implemented plans right away to mitigate and just use that experience. So my point in saying all that is that we're very tied to, the ebbs and flows of the auto industry. And in 2008, 2009, the difference is that value disappeared out of the market. One day we woke up and something was worth $100 and now it's worth $2, right?
Yeah.
In this day and in this sort of cataclysmic thing, yes, I think now we're at the point where value is being lost, and it's not equity value, which is, I think, a thing that we will learn to understand. The equity is still there. That building that we're in is still worth what it's worth. That theater that you do your performing arts in is still worth what it's worth. It's not worth any less. Its P&L sucks right now because there's no income coming in, but then there's also no expenses going out either. So it's not losing equity value. So right now, car dealers some of them are having the best economic performance because they're selling just as many cars with less people. And so I just talked to a huge dealer group today out of Ohio, and the general manager who runs that whole thing, he's like, yeah, we have 60% employees and we're doing 110% of the sales. So as we did in 2008 and 2009, we're learning we can do more with less. And I think right now we're doing more with less. And for our little just corner of the world in the auto industry, we're tied to an industry that right now is doing really well. So that means we're okay. We're not doing really well, but we're doing okay. And again, this situation up to this point in time hasn't been punitive to our company. We've been able to navigate this, pretty well. So
yeah. You talk about all that, and my mind just trails off to my favorite ride at Epcot, which is Speed Track. Test Track.
Yeah.
Right? Like the experience as you're going to board the car, where you're actually building the car. That's what I think of when I think of your company. Yeah.
Very similar. But
yours is on steroids, I should say that.
Well, I think ours is, I think the Disney one is probably on steroids. I think ours is, it's capturing the imagination of that customer who's going to do something functional to that vehicle if they roll it, when they take it home, right? They're going to put a trailer hitch on it. They're going to put
nothing functional about Test Track.
There's lots of functional enjoyment of going really fast. That's not in question. Look, and you can do that too. You can put a turbocharger on. I think that's what I need on. I have I'm going to shamelessly plug my other, lots of other endeavors, but our Diplomat Ride series, our hashtag Diplomat Challenge. So you can also, you can hashtag that on Facebook and you'll get all our videos where I updated, I made modifications to my 2016 Volkswagen Passat, which we aptly named the Diplomat because it was like totally vanilla when we started this. But now it's
you got the NOS on there. You got the NOS.
The NOS? No, I don't have NOS. No, I haven't had the NOS distributor go, dude, we need to NOS your car, and that would be cool. So yeah. I
was watching an episode of The Office this past week, and it was something about I think Dwight was saying, "Hit the NOS, hit the NOS." Jim was driving I think a Prius.
Oh, nice. Yes. Oh man, I'd like to see that on some NOS.
Wow. I'm sorry I derailed that. It was stuck in my head for a while. The Test Track. I miss Disney. It's just at the top of my head.
My sister Melanie was a longtime performer at Disney and was Nemo for many years. So really? She was the stage performer in that. When you go to
that's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, what's
Animal Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Nemo the musical.
Yes,
Finding Nemo the musical. I should
Finding
say.
Nemo. Yeah, so she was a Nemo for 10 years or something. I mean,
wow. You honestly, if I have her on the show, and now it's set in stone that I'm going to. Okay. I'm going to have some major geekness going on behind the scenes.
She will. She'll tell you all. I mean, she'll tell you what she can tell because that's always sort of the Disney secret. But
yeah, absolutely.
And she's a great ambassador of Disney. She loves the company. And
technically, I believe she's a friend of Nemo.
Right.
Yes.
I think, yes, that's how she probably will say it, but she's on. I'm not a Disney employee. I don't care.
Right. You didn't have your family sign the contracts? You were supposed to do that. Jeez.
I missed that memo.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she did good. She would love to be on the show. I told a great story on the podcast about her buying a car. I witnessed her buying a car. So this is her coming into my world and just absolutely destroying this general manager at this dealership, and walked out with a deal on a car that I want her to buy all my cars. And I tell her that all the time. She's a heck of a business person. She's a heck of a negotiator.
Yeah.
And boy, she's awesome. And they did a fun, we talked about this on our show as well. They did a really neat pivot in all this. Let me tell you who they were. It was Melanie and her really good friend, Julie Frost, who again would be another great person to have on the show. Julie Frost is a performer. Look up Julie Frost Kids. This is a platform that she has developed for kids in performance arts. She's done a lot with the USO and traveled the world performing shows for the USO. So Julie and Melanie were supposed to go run the Disney. They call it 19.1, which is a half marathon and a 10K added together. Yeah. And so the goal was to go run that Disney, which they've done before. And then COVID hits and then they can't do it. So they pivoted and created this virtual run group, COVID-19 virtual run group. And it's got like 2,500 members and they're all over the world. And people are posting every day because I'm a member of it. And they're posting every day about their runs and what they're doing and how they're building up to running a 10K or a marathon. It's neat. I mean, they did a lot to really inspire people to just get out and be active at this time when it was, it was scary and it was difficult to know just what to do. And sometimes just getting out and walking or running or doing some physical activity does the body good, does the mind good, does the emotions good. So,
absolutely, yeah. We bought a pool.
Like a little pool, or like dig a giant hole and pour a bunch of cement?
No. So we got one of those. Gosh, I don't know what's going on in my glass. Screw it. We got one of those above ground frameless pools. So it has like the ring around the top, and we've been enjoying the hell out of it. I'll tell you.
Oh, I bet. In this heat, it's what happened. All of a sudden, somebody turned up the oven, and it has been. South Carolina has been brutal the last, say, week and a half.
South Georgia is the same way. It's just awful. And, I was in North Carolina last week, and during the day, it wasn't much better, but it was better enough to make it a vacation.
And at night, it really cools off. You were up there towards the mountains, and there's nothing like going out about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, make sure there's no bears around, and you just feel that nice, cool air. It's awesome. Love going up to the mountains.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
cool.
So yeah,
wow. So we have almost gone an entire hour now.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even finish my cheese plate.
What? I almost finished my drink. I have a couple of sips left. This was ginger beer and bourbon.
Ooh, oh, I'm not a bourbon fan, but ginger beer and gin and ginger beer and vodka are like my two ginger go-tos.
We'll do that too. I'm
doing a Canadian here. I'm doing a Labatt's Blue tonight.
Labatt's Blue, nice.
Yeah, yes. Good.
Now, I should ask, you drink beer? Do you traditionally drink like the standard style beer, or do you go off?
I'm a lightweight when it comes to beer. I like my pilsners and my lagers. I'm not an IPA fan. The craft beer scene, I'll dip my toe into it as long as it's more like a lager. They'll go into what do you like? I like Yinling, or I like Corona's kind of nice.
Corona.
So,
Everybody likes Corona right now. It's just
right. So, what about you? What's your beer of choice?
I love all beers. I was on a kick where I drank a lot of saisons, a lot of more, I guess, fruity beers like Wicked Weed up in Asheville.
Yeah.
I really like that. And then it just affected me in a really bad way, and I stopped altogether. Yeah, it was just not like I was drunk and insane or anything, but it was just like my stomach. It just
IPAs give me an instant headache. I mean, it is like 2 sips and it's like, oof.
Yeah.
No, it's just not worth it. So
I do love beer though. It's one of my favorites, but tonight it was bourbon.
Yeah. Well, you were dealing with the cat, you need a little nip, take the edge off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Susan says, I've never seen you drunk and insane.
Oh, come on, Susan. Come on.
Okay, my 21st birthday, I was in Maryland when they lived up there, my sister and my brother-in-law. Before they had kids, I spent my 21st birthday up there, and they bought me wild turkey.
Oh.
But not like whiskey. It was like the
fortified stuff.
The syrupy stuff, the sweet stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think I was probably pretty knocked off on that.
I think I tried that in college. It was like, no, thank you. It's kind of like bourbon for me. Bourbon has it's like a. Yeah. Now I'll drink a scotch all day. I love scotch, not all day.
I do love scotch as well, but I've taken to bourbon recently just because Christmas somebody gives me a bottle of it, so I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
At least try it. And it's bad. But yeah, it has. Oh yeah, there you go. That's right. Wild turkey liqueur is what she. Yeah, that was. I think she just wanted me to go full tilt. And
now, what's the age difference between the two of you? Who's older? Who's younger?
Oh, she's much older. So much older.
Oh, she's gonna kill you now. She's gonna kill me for asking that question.
No, I've always been considered the baby of the family up until the point where the second baby came along, who's my half brother Brendan. So he's the second baby. I'm the first baby. She's not much older. What, you're like 2 years older than me, Susan, right? Isn't that right? Yeah, whatever. But yeah, there's Susan, my brother Joe, Carrie, and myself. So there's 4 in a row. She is the oldest, though. I will say that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she carries herself as the oldest. Like, she's been around. She's been like, yeah, I'm gonna keep people straight. So
yeah,
you're gonna see it come out in the office every now and then. She'll walk around and be like, all right, what's going on with Susan?
That's awesome. I love this. So show me your shirt.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Let me do this without being totally. So keep calm.
Very nice.
So yeah, I was wearing this shirt to, just sort of put out those keep calm vibes into the performance community. It's tough. I am sitting on the sidelines, knowing that I have a job and security in my work right now. And I cannot imagine if that was suddenly ripped away. Yeah. And so I have a great deal of empathy and a great deal of, understanding for just that emotional turmoil. And at the same time, I'm always an optimist, and there's got to be something that can be done that you can do. So I think that would be my message is, sometimes the fear of things sort of gets in the way of maybe some creative thought. And I think what you're doing, and I think what Matt's doing in having these conversations, trying to get people to talk, that's kind of what happened with Matt and me to get going on this podcast was there was fear, there was misunderstanding, there was, lack of direction. And then, hey, here's how we can sort of do something that moves all of us forward in some way. And so I absolutely applaud you, and I absolutely applaud Matt for sure. And I just, my message out to, your community is keep thinking. There's great ideas out there and things that you weren't sure to try. Right now, the technology is behind you, right? So whether it's a one act in your PJs in your living room, or it's singing on Facebook, or it's creating some content, I think a lot of people are just looking for good content. I've been so pleased at the response to our podcast, just from the standpoint of, people get past the names, like, well, this is stupid, whatever. And then they listen, and then, it's like, oh my gosh, that was a great interview. It's like, well, thanks. We can do some stuff. We joke around a lot. We goof around a lot, but we're kind of good at this. And so I'm not the only one that can create that content. And Matt's not the only one, and you're not the only one. That content can be created, and everybody has that talent that they can bring forward. And I think the technology that we're surrounded with right now just affords for some experimentation. For example, my favorite thing on the internet right now is Sax Squatch.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is so good.
Brilliant. One, he's a great musician, or she.
Yeah.
We don't really know. I think there's a picture of him somewhere. I think it is a he, because that would be one tall, big woman. But maybe the camera distorts it. Maybe it's a lady. I don't know. We don't know.
Maybe.
Great musician, wonderful personality in the motion of what the Sasquatch does, right? And then it's the environment. Oh, you're going to show it?
Yeah, I'm pulling it out right now.
Yes.
I'm
trying to figure out, while I go on vacation, I'm going dark. I mean, totally dark, starting Thursday morning. And I'm trying to figure out, for every day that I'm on vacation, if I could schedule on my Facebook a post that says, hey, I'm gone, but enjoy this.
You totally can. So here's Sax Squatch. Oh wait, I forgot to do something. I gotta fix this real quick, because as you know, if you don't, you click on the Chrome tab and then you have to share audio. It's all crazy stuff. So yeah, this is Sax Squatch, and actually I have to turn the audio on. There we go.
It just gives me so much joy. I can't help but laugh and be heartwarmed. Is Careless Whisper.
Oh, I'll have to look that one up. That's one of my
awesome.
favorite songs of all time.
And then there's a jam up. I think it's a jam up of Careless Whisper and Take a Walk on the Wild Side, or it's Take a Walk on the Wild Side and another mashup with something. And if you're not just smiling and just enjoying that by the end, I can't help you.
Yeah. And coming up next on my feed, Chris Wallace humiliates Trump for bragging about something. I don't know. That was the next thing on my list of videos. So, oh boy, I'd rather watch Sax Squatch myself.
Yeah, that's much better than all that other stuff. And that's another thing I know that you do here too, that we've done. We made a conscious effort. There's plenty of outlets to talk about the politics. There's plenty of outlets to vent and to get all that out somewhere else. Yes, I have my opinions. Yes, Matt has his opinions, but you know what? That we're not. It all can't come back to that. Right. At the end of the day, we've got to move forward. At the end of the day, I've got to put food on the table. So what am I going to do today to do that and make sure that continues to happen? Yeah. And I just got to let some of that stuff go. So I was happy that we made that decision. I think it's a smart
I think that is an awesome way to go, especially because my initial thought when I started this project 2 years ago, not this podcast, but this project that this is based on, was that I didn't want to feed into the mega giant that is Facebook. I wanted it to be a separate entity in and of itself where people could go and figure out what was going on, what events were going on, that kind of thing. And then going forward with this, it was mostly about the fact that, you know, anybody can say anything in a text.
Ugh.
And they do. But
or just now on camera. And now on camera.
Walk up to that person and say that same thing.
Yeah. Right.
You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. I mean, it's just insane. But that's why we don't do it here.
Good. Yeah, not doing it.
There's so much I want to say to you right now.
It's a good thing you're not here.
But yeah, David, this has been great. I knew that it was going to be great when we first started talking, and I so appreciate you coming on. And I can't wait for the next season to happen because I want to be on your show. Yes,
and you are at the top of the lineup for sure. And we definitely want to have you on the show. I'm hoping we do a season 2. I think we will. I think Matt will be energized in a few weeks. And yeah, so we're hoping to reignite it. I think we found our voice towards the end of it. Really found the niche we were going for the last couple of episodes. So see our last episode 13. That was with Alice Geiger. It's all about the restaurant biz. That just dropped this morning, actually.
Yeah, I saw that dropped this morning. Meanwhile, you have another podcast that you do that is about your industry.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thanks. So I do have another podcast. At some point I work. It's called Next Up Accessories. You can. It has a website and it also has Facebook. You can hashtag that Next Up Accessories. So Next Up Accessories. And it is a podcast that speaks directly to salespeople in car dealerships about the vehicle personalization world. Tomorrow, we did a promo for it today. Tomorrow, I have Rebecca Noonan, who is the marketing manager for ClassicCars.com. And this, she's a powerhouse. She's been in the industry, in the automotive industry, pretty much all of her life. She started tuning her own cars at a very early age. She was featured in the Wall Street Journal. This is how we saw her. We saw an article about her in the Wall Street Journal, and we all said on our team, we've got to see if we can put her on the show. And so she covers, as a journalist, she covers a lot of the big industry shows, SEMA being one of those big accessory industry shows. And then she does her own tuning and stuff. So not only is she a great writer and a great ambassador and great information channel for the industry, she's got her hands dirty. I mean, she likes the grease on her hands and fixing stuff under a car. So it should be a fun show tomorrow. So that's at 1:00. It airs on Insignia Group's Facebook page, and then it will be available on all podcast platforms. So just search, if you want to listen to the audio, it's Next Up Accessories. So thanks. Yeah.
I will also mention your partner's new podcast that he started yesterday, The World Still Spins. It is about the performance industry and trying to keep the light on, similar to what I'm trying to do here. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. That's going to be great. He definitely has a specific perspective on things being in New York, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So thank you so much for, partnering and having me on the show and spreading the good word. And, let's keep the positivity going out there.
Absolutely. Thanks, David. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to be gone for the rest of this week. As I said before, I'm going down to 2 a week. I can't handle this workload. It's just too much. You people are too demanding. Leave me alone. Not really. I love it when you watch. So coming up next week, we actually, on Monday, we're going to have kind of a town hall. I'm hoping to stream that. if I can't stream that, we're going to record it and show it to you later. But we'll have a lot of people in the Savannah performance industry showing up. If you're one of those people and you'd like to join in, please message me. I'd love to have you on board just to get your perspective. On Tuesday, I'm actually talking to someone who's doing something very inventive in the performance industry in a virtual space, and that is Brendan Bradley. He was actually, his project was featured in playbill.com just this past weekend. And he's created this space where people can actually perform virtually online, which is really pretty cool. So I can't wait to talk to him next Tuesday. So be sure to check that out. If not, sitcom freeze.